You soon inside our studios. It's been quite a while since you visited us, but of course on Saturday the sun does illuminated 3 of the 4 statues in the inner sanctuary of Aswan's Abu Simbel temple, a very amazing phenomenon where every year, twice a year, on the King Ramses II statue on his birthday and day of coronation on October 22nd, the sun shines upon his face for a good 20 minutes. The importance of this phenomenon and really the amazing message behind it, the greatness of the ancient Egyptians.
Well, actually, this phenomenon never ceased to amaze us, because a guy like me who's been reading history for the last, let's say, 40 years or something, and I'm still amazed every time.
Yes.
And every twice a year, and every time we keep asking ourselves about the reasons and about how they did it. And I always imagined this business of the ancient Egyptians more than 3,000 years ago, standing in the beautiful Nubia, number one, choosing the mountains that they're going to carve. These are 2 carved temples and not built. There is a huge difference between building and carving.
Carved, yes.
And apart from the artistic part of it, and apart from the engineering part, and apart from the workmanship and all what's known, I ask myself a question. If one hit by the ads of this amazing genius workman who is working in this project, if one hit by the ads in the wrong direction, the sun is not going to illuminate the 3 statues, and will not illuminate the 4th one, which means that every hit in this temple was calculated by a group of supervisors who are not only engineers and not only workmen, chiefs or foremen. They were also people who were dealing with the movements of the planets and the movements of the sun, and they studied all sorts of the timing of the rising and the timing of and the direction itself. This is number one.
Yes.
Number two, if you look very carefully about this business of the 4th statue that is not illuminated, until today, see how much did we go further and further in the world of Egyptology, and the excavations, and the high tech that entered in the last, let's say, 30 years. And we are still suffering from questions that has no answers for it.
Yes.
Why Petah is not illuminated? Why Petah is not illuminated? Hieroglyphs Petah, and now we call him Petah. Is it because he is part of the 12 hours of the night?
Yes.
And that means another genius move made by the ancient Egyptians, or there is other reasons? And finally, this business of the 21st of February, 21st of October, and after they moved the temple 64 meters above its original location, due to the rising of the water of the Nasser Lake, which never reached it, by the way. It came closer, but never reached it. And so it changed into, they were keen to make it change, but by only around 24 hours. So it became the 22nd of February, 22nd of October. Why? Why would they go through all this effort to illuminate these statues in those 2 days only? Is it because it was his birthday and the day that he mounted the throne? That is proven, and take it from me, everybody, wrong, wrong, wrong until now.
Okay.
Why? One, as I told you, in my humble last 40 years or so, I did not find one text, one translation of a text, one transliteration of an ancient Egyptian text, or Demotic, or hieroglyphic, or hieratic, or Coptic, or Greek, or on any of the documented ancient Egyptian texts, or even theories which are theorized by important and respectable, and underline please this word, respectable Egyptologists, all right? That explains to me why those 2. There is not one hieroglyphic word in the temple that I know of that is telling us that it is the day that he mounted the throne or the day of his birthday. From where this story came, it beats me. I never knew from where that story came, and it spread, and it's still until minutes before you called me.
Yes.
Somebody who was writing about it. So why those 2? Is it because of the seasons? Is it to deal with the movement of certain planets and stars? Is it an agricultural calendar calculation? Is it that the temple is giving, the priests of the temples are giving the, if you like, orders to the seasons of cultivation? Is it the relation between fertility of the land and the cultivation and the beginning of certain events for the ancient Egyptian peasant farmer? All these are question marks as not answered until now. And if you ask me finally, Bassam, do you like unanswered questions in ancient Egypt? Do you want to answer all questions? Do you want all answers to be questioned and all questions to be answered? I tell you, I am still very excited and on our toes that there are still questions that we don't know its answers.
Wow, and that is indeed the magic really around the ancient Egyptians, which keeps people constantly coming back for more.
Exactly, and by the way, coming for more, here is this key that you just mentioned. Now, and I really support the idea of managing to get the Minister of Antiquities and Minister of Tourism to be one. I like this idea, especially with people who taught many languages and they were guides, and now they are in the power of those ministers and they know about tourism a great deal. They lecture, they talk more than one language. All of this is excellent. So I'm saying, okay, so we have more than one event of the solar rays dealing with temples in Egypt today, now being studied, like the Qasr Qarun event, also dealing with solar movement. Hatshepsut, there are talks about solar movements dealing with the temple, the Karnak temples, and so on and so forth. Well, what about events tourism? What about solar events tourism? And because we know their dates, and because we studied their dates, the people studied them, we can start to market them 1 year or 2 years in advance to the world. Also, I would ask finally one more request from the governors this time. Please put huge screens in the streets and explain to the people live in the streets, and keep on playing that video all day long to tell the people in different languages. If there is, for example, a tourist or an Egyptian who's walking down the street in Tahrir Square or in Shobra or in beautiful Alexandria or in Sinai or anywhere in Egypt, and they want to know about it. They are going to work, they have 5 minutes before they go, they are having a sandwich before they go, having breakfast, and they are watching this. Okay? We do that with ads everywhere. We do that with huge screens now everywhere in places. Why not do this and explain to the people? Because the Egyptians, all the Egyptians, the 100 million Egyptians, have the right to know and to be very proud of what their grandfathers and mothers did with this beautiful civilization.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Bassam El Shammaa, the Egyptologist. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and for all your insights on today's edition of Cairo Local Time. And we continue on with the news making the headlines.